Hello and welcome everybody. Today's module is going to focus on simplifying expressions. So your goal after leaving this should be able to take an expression, simplify it to its most compact and reduced form. So we're trying to take expressions that are a bit longer and bigger and reduce them into smaller expressions. So fun fact about me, I do like sweets. I like my desserts, so brownies and cookies are among my two favorite things. And when I go to the store, a couple things that I need to buy for these are eggs to go with them, oil to go with them to make them, and also milk. But importantly, for eggs and milk, they do expire. So I want to make sure I don't buy too much, and then I also want to make sure I don't buy too little, and then I just have brownie mix that I can't actually do anything with because I don't have the correct ingredients. So let's say that I go for X runs per week. And if I go for a run, in the middle of the run, I get hungry and I want some motivation to finish, so I think about dessert for that night. So if I'm running, I'm going to have a dessert. And if I'm not running, then I won't. And let's say that I like my desserts evenly. So half of my desserts are brownies, and the other half of my desserts are cookies. So if I run 6 times in a week, 6 divided by 2, I'd eat 3 brownies. And if I run 6 times in a week again, 6 divided by 2 would be 3 cookies. So that works. All right, so we're going to represent eggs with an E. We'll do oil with a V because of vegetable oil, and then we'll do milk with an M because it's milk. And we'll do that for both of these here. And what we want to see is based off of how much I run, when I go to the store, how many of these things do I need to buy? How many eggs, how much oil, how much milk? So start off with the brownies. So I eat X over 2 brownies per week. Every time I eat them, I need 1 egg. I need 1/3 of a cup of oil, and I need 1/4 cup of milk. Okay, but also, if I'm running that week, I'm gonna have just as many cookies, which also means I need an egg, also means I need 1/3 cup of oil, and I need 1/8 of a cup of milk this time. So when I go to the store, that looks like a lot to digest, a lot for me to just know how much I should buy. So should I just buy a random amount? Should I buy too much? Should I buy too little? So I just know after a certain amount of time. And really, the skill that we're working on today is gonna let me answer this question quickly. So that way, when I go tonight, it won't take me too long. I'll be like, oh, I need this many eggs, this much oil, and this much milk, and then I'll be good to go. I can be happy, I can eat my brownies, and I can be motivated to run. We're gonna come back to this at the end after we learn the skill with the goal of being able to simplify this expression into something that I can actually use instead of something that is just way too big to digest and just a complicated other crazy math teacher question that you're never actually gonna use. All right, so let's go to our definition first. And today we are talking about simplifying expressions. And we define this as evaluating an expression until it's in its most reduced form. That's just a fancy way of saying we take something that's big and complicated and try to make it simplified and small. So an example of this, if we had like 7x times 4 plus 3 plus 7 plus 2 as our expression, that's big. And if we look here, we actually can simplify this one. So we could take all of our common constants here together. Again, there's no variables, they're just numbers, so we're allowed to add them together, and we would get 16. So we're allowed to do 7x times 16, and actually, we can still multiply the 7 and the 16. So let's go ahead and do that. And if you need a calculator, totally okay to do that as well. And we'll end up with an answer of 112x. And that is simplified. So we took something that was big that had 5 plus terms and multiple operations, and we just made it into one term, just multiplying 112 times x. So our steps for today, like we just did, we're going to use PEMDAS. So it is important to follow the order of operations still to simplify each expression. And then we continue to evaluate until there's no more possible steps. Until basically we get to that step where there's 112x, there's nothing more that we can do, and that's everything. That's all that we got. All right, so some examples. We're gonna go through the first one together, and I'm gonna have you submit the other 3. So again, writing in PEMDAS. We do have parentheses here, but let's see what we can do. 2x and 1 are inside, so we can't do anything with these parentheses. No exponents. Multiplication. Okay, so we can multiply or distribute that -3 in. I like that, so let's do that. Remember, this is negative 3. So we're left with 5 minus 6x, because negative 3 times 2x is negative 6. Then we have negative 3 times negative 1, which gets us positive 3. Okay? I like that. Is there anything more that we can do? Let's continue going down PEMDAS. So no division. Addition, it actually does look like we have some of that. So we have a 5, and we have a 3. Again, like terms, we are allowed to put those together. So we get 8, and then don't forget about that negative 6x. And here we go. That's all we can do. Can't go any further because we have a constant and a variable, so they're not like terms, so that won't work for us. So this works out well for us here. We are happy because, again, we took an expression with 4 terms, we got all the way down to 2 terms. That is a simplified expression, and that's our goal for today, is to take something that's more complicated and to reduce it down to something that's a little bit more simple. And we did it. All right, so let's go back to my grocery shopping example before I go to the store tonight. And let's see, depending on how many runs I have. So this has a lot of terms. This is a big one. And that's honestly like the real world, right? Things are more complicated, they're bigger. So let's do what we did before. Start off with some multiplication and go step by step. So we have x eggs over 2 plus x veggie oil over 6. Again, I'm just taking the bottom and multiplying, so the 2 times the 3, that gets me the 6. And then x milk over 8. Okay, so that's here. So I simplified this one from 4 terms to 3, so I'm already in the plus, I'm winning. All right, same thing here. So x eggs over 2, x veggie oil over 6, again the 2 times the 3. And then now x milk, this time over 16, because we have 2 times 8 there. Okay, so we have 6 terms. We started off with 8, we're down to 6, that's good. Let's see what else we can do though. So it looks like here we have xe, or x eggs, so that's a like term, we can put that one together. So we have 2 x eggs over 2, which is actually just the same thing as 1, because 2 divided by 2 is just 1, so we have x eggs. So as many runs as I go on, which is x, I need to buy eggs, so if I go on 6 runs, I need 6 eggs. That sounds reasonable to me, logically. Let's try our veggie oil now. So here we have 2 veggie oils over 6. We can also reduce this. 2 divided by 6 will give us 1 over 3. So for every run I go on, I need 1/3 of a cup of veggie oil, which, looking at this, no matter what I do, I use 1/3 a cup of veggie oil. So that also makes sense to me. And then let's go to our final one. Milk. A little bit more complicated. We have to change this x over m. So xm over 8 into 2 over 16 instead of 1 over 8. So we have a common denominator. And then we take down our xm over 16 and add it here. So we're left with 3xm over 16. Can't do anything with those fractions there. Those aren't very nice ones for me. So I know that I need about, on average, 3/16 of a cup of milk for every time that I run. So my final simplified expression is x eggs plus 1/3 a cup of veggie oil every time I run, plus 3/16 of a cup of milk every time that I run. So here we go. Here is an expression that I need to use tonight when I go. So if I plan on running 6 days next week, which I do, I would need 6 eggs, I need 2 cups of veggie oil, and I would need a little bit over a cup of milk. So using this, I did simplify my life from 8 terms all the way down to 3. And that was a real life example of simplifying an expression to save myself grocery shopping. And while that did take a little bit of work today to figure that out exactly, I won't be wasting any milk or eggs this week. And if I do this again in the future, it'll save me a lot of time because I already have this formula ready for me to go. So important things to think about today when we're going through and solving, and know that this is something that we can use in our daily lives, so it is a useful skill. So finish up those last 3 questions. As always, if you have any trouble going through, feel free to reach out, make an appointment, email, remind message, any of those things. We are here to support you. So have a great day.